ask Mr. Grothman from...
In a press release yesterday, the department said that the 24-25 FAFSA form was available on December 30th, 2023 for all students to complete for short periods of time. Can you describe that, what that vague phrase, short periods of time, actually looked like for students?
It meant less than an hour on the 30th and 31st of December.
You could, for an hour? Okay.
Right. Less than an hour each day.
Would you agree with the statement that all students were able to complete the form when it was launched in December, on December 30th?
No.
No?
No. The department itself said that it was not consistently available until January 7th, and we know further that there were many technical problems with the form when it was made available, and there were some students that were not able to submit forms until many months later.
Okay. In your press release, was it yesterday, the department said that some, quote, some students encountered technical difficulties that made completing the form difficult or impossible after the 24-25 FAFSA form opened fully in January 7th. The word some in that statement suggests problems were not widespread. What percentage of students do you think faced technical difficulties after January 7th?
Although we don't have an exact number from the department, we know that many, many students were affected. The Department of Education acknowledges that there were over 40 technical issues with the initial rollout, and there were large groups of students that were not able to complete applications. For example, we know of one particular technical issue that affected hundreds of thousands of students.
Okay, could you give us a wild guess, 5%, 55%, 80%?
We could do that for the record.
You could do it in the future.
We could look into it for the record in terms of an estimate.
Yeah, I'd like to know. Can you provide technical examples of technical problems that made it hard for students and their family to complete the new FAFSA? And do you think these are fixed by this year?
Right. There are a wide variety of problems. For example, if you were born in the year 2000, you simply couldn't proceed. You could not complete the FAFSA if you happened to be born in the year 2000. That was fixed, but that was not fixed until March. There are other issues in terms of signatures disappearing. If you go back to a saved application, the student's or the parent's signature could disappear, rendering it then incomplete, and that has still not been resolved. There are other issues with parents not being able to contribute information, parents not being able to move past certain screens. There are also issues with incorrect information being provided. Graduate students are falsely told that they are eligible for Pell Grants. This is not true, and this is not resolved.
Okay. What technical support options did you offer students when they encountered a problem?
Education's main support was its call center. However, most people could not reach call center representatives. About 3/4 of calls went unanswered.
Okay. In your press release yesterday, the department said their call center received a, quote, unprecedented number of calls after the FAFSA was launched on December 30th. Given that the department knew families would be filling out the updated FAFSA for the first time, did you prepare your call center to answer these questions, or did they maintain at least the same number of staff as the last year? Did you bring in extra staff for the end of the year?
The Department of Education vastly underestimated the need for call center staff. And as a result, they vastly understaffed the call centers.
Okay. As students continue to encounter significant technical issues, were the department's proposed workarounds for the litany of bugs effective, would you say?
Although we didn't assess the effectiveness of the workarounds, I can tell you that students weren't always told about the workarounds. Oftentimes, students were told, exit, try again later, but they were never then told when a workaround was developed. And it might have taken several months for a workaround to be developed. And in the meantime, students could have been going into the application and just trying and coming across the same barriers. It was not helpful for students.
Okay. Are there any of your proposed workarounds you'd like to highlight for the benefit of the committee?
There was one workaround in particular that instructed students with a parent who lived abroad to falsely put in a U.S. address in order to contribute information to the FAFSA.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize Ms.